welcome. What's for tea for Tracey? Another lovely day today. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's good. We're going to be doing chicken stir fry today, and we're actually going to be doing Thai, basil and sweet chili chicken. And I'm going to be using this satchel, which is Passage to Asia, which you can get at Woolies as well as Coles. So you can follow the ingredients on the pack, but I don't do that. I make it up myself as I go. And I'll also be adding a little bit of oyster sauce, a little bit of the sweet ketchup, sweet soya sauce, and soy sauce as well as that. All right, let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to cut up an onion. I'll put some oil in the pan first, vegetable oil.
Does it matter what oil you use?
No, any oil. You can use any oil. So I'm going to cut up some onion and my garlic and then start frying that and then add it in the chicken. La-la! Carolyn bought these for me last year. All right, so
you kept crying when you were cutting the onion.
I know. I'm going to use a red onion today because that's a lot sweeter. But if you don't have a red onion, you can always use your normal brown onion. But I like red onions because they add a bit of a sweeter flavour. Okay. Only thing is peel it. Red onions are a pain to peel. So you just slice the onion like you normally would any onion. Just dice it. And the veggies I'll be using today is celery, red capsicum, green capsicum, leek, and onion.
What was the last
and garlic.
one?
Red onion.
Red onion.
Yeah. So I've just got that. I've got my little board today. Normally I use the plastic board, but personally, myself, I like a wooden board. It seems to work a lot better, but we only have a small one, but that's okay. Okay, so we get my garlic, a couple of cloves of garlic, just dice it. Or if you don't want to use fresh garlic, you can always use the minced garlic that you get from the supermarket. I always have in my fridge minced garlic if I don't have any fresh garlic at home. Do you use fresh garlic, Carolyn, or do you use minced?
I use fresh garlic, but if I'm being lazy, I just get out the jar out of the fridge.
Yeah.
It does taste slightly different, but
yeah, it's got that sort of big, because I think with the minced garlic, I think they put a little bit of vinegar in to preserve it, and I think that's what it gets tasted. Here we go. So that's that. Slapdash, thank you, ma'am. Okay, chuck that in here. I haven't turned the heat on yet. Now we've got our leek. I like to put a leek in it as well.
I don't think I've ever cooked a leek.
Yeah, they're really nice. I like them.
So you don't use the green part?
No, I don't. People do, I don't. I just use this part. But if you don't like an onion taste, leek is from the onion family, but it's not as strong. So people who tend not to like onion actually cook with leek quite a lot. Let me just dice up leek. Like that. It's all falling off the board. I think
maybe you should have done half at a time.
Yeah, probably. Maybe I was. Here's my handy board over here. That's probably a better choice. Just chop up the leek.
Just a rough chop?
Yeah, roughly chop. Because it wilts. Okay. Chop our leek. Here we go. Handy. Good knife. All right, here we go. Just chuck that in with my thing. So what we'll do is before we add the chicken, I want to soften the onion and the leek and the garlic. And also, I'm also going to add some grated ginger in as well, which I've had in the fridge from last week or the week before. So you just get your knob of ginger, and if you don't use all of it, you just chuck it in a plastic bag in the fridge and you're good to go. So here we go. I'm just going to grate my ginger just like that. And I'll be serving this with rice. And as you can see, my rice cooker's over there bubbling away, cooking my rice for the lunch today for the girls.
I cooked a big pot of rice on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I put it into like cup servings, put into plastic bags and put it into the freezer.
Oh, really?
So then if I want to have rice and I can't be bothered cooking it, I
Is
can
it in
just
the freezer?
microwave it.
That's a good idea. I never thought to do that actually. You can cook, keep, I should say, cook rice in the fridge for a couple of days.
But this way you can keep it for a couple of months.
I know.
Without and then it only takes a minute or two to cook.
Cool, that's a good idea.
And you don't have a saucepan.
All right. Now I am just turn my heat on, and I am when I stir. You can. This is what I do when I stir fry it. So I flip it. I use a wooden spoon like that, or it could be plastic, whatever. A round spoon and like a flat spoon, you would call it, wouldn't you? What shape would that be?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it's just like that, so you can move the stuff around. See how I'm doing that? Whoops. Don't throw it at the pan like I just did then.
Maybe not quite as vigorously.
Okay, so I have got 2. I'm not going to use all of this because there's 5 of us today. 1 just didn't seem enough, do you know what I mean, for lunch? So I've got 2 of the chicken stir fry from Woolies. Normally I get it from Coles and it's a bit of a bigger packet, it's got more in it. So we probably won't use 2 today, but yeah, so there you go. If it's only a couple of you, 1 would be enough, but if there's 3 or 4, with this little Woolworths one, I think 2.5, 1.5, what do you think? We'll know as we're getting it out. Because
chicken you want, I suppose, how generous you are.
Yeah, and there's 5 of us today, so that's why I'm going to use probably nearly 2. See how they're just turning a little bit of colour like that in my handy wok. Okay, so now I add the chicken. So I've used probably 1.5. Yeah, so come and have a look how much chicken we have. Now, this is for 5 people, plus we've got the vegetable. So I've used, if it was just a couple of people, 1 would be enough, but I've used 1.5 of the Woolworths one.
So they're 500, so you've used about 750 grams of chicken.
Yeah, okay, so now I'm going to cut up my other veggies while the chicken's cooking. My celery. So this is the stir fry I've made up myself because I like these veggies in a stir fry. You can add any veggies you want. It depends what veggies you want to add. Like you might not like celery, you might prefer to add carrot instead. Do you know what I mean?
Often do a stir fry at the end of the week with whatever's left in the veggie crisper.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That is such a good way to use the veggies.
And in winter time, I make a soup like that.
Soup like that? Pantry soup? I'm cutting the veggies and slowly browning the chicken. So we get our capsicums and we don't dice them, we put them into soups. So we just flatten that like that. Yes, see? Just like that. See, open strips of capsicum. So this is just 1 large capsicum that I've got. Even if they look a bit sad, you know how you think, oh, that could sort of... Don't bin it because in a stir fry it's fine. By the time I add my veggies in, the chicken will be cooked. And then when my veggies are softened, that's when I add the sauce. Here we go. So I just flatten that down like that. If you find they're a little bit long, you can always just like cut them in half like that. As I said, it's not an exact science. You see how the chicken's cooked now? And then what we do is we add our plate of veggies. This is what I do. I now put the lid on it, and so I don't have to add like liquid to the pan. The steam drops down.
So you don't put the sauce in already?
No, I'll put the sauce in just when the veggies are softened. Okay, so we just do a splash dash of everything before we add our passage to Asia. Alright, so we've got our sauces here. We've got our sweet soya and our number soya. We just add like a, you know, like a dash. Is that called a dash? A splash. A splash. How's it smell?
All I can smell is onions.
I can smell the capsicum. Now?
I've got onions. Oh yeah, I just got a whiff of capsicum.
Yeah. Now you don't want your vegetables like too cooked. You want them blanched because you really don't cook them so they're really soft, you know what I mean, in a stir fry.
Yes, it's
They're
still
meant
crunchy.
Crunchy, yeah, exactly. Crunchy. So I would probably leave that for about another 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and
so you're going to sing and dance for
sing
2
and
minutes?
dance. Oh, I read a good book that you recommended by Kelli Hawkins. It's called Other People's Houses. That was such a good read. Carolyn recommended that. It's about a woman that's lost her son. This is on the blurb. And she goes to open houses and imagines her living their life. Isn't it, Carolyn?
Yes.
Yeah. And then she gets obsessed with one particular family. And it's a really good book. I am really enjoying it.
So many twists and turns.
Yeah, you just don't see it coming. And I started a Fiona Palmer book called The Sunnyvale Girls, and that's really good. Yeah, that's really good. I'm reading that as well. What about you? What are you reading?
I just finished the latest Susan Elizabeth Phillips called When Stars Collide.
Oh.
It's actually part of a series that she's been running for a long time.
Yep.
It started off with the owner of a football team, and so the main characters are usually football players or sports players. It's an American book.
Okay, good.
And the premise of this story is the famous footballer and a famous opera singer.
That's a different match, isn't it?
They become the brand ambassadors for these fancy watches, and they have to go on this tour around America.
Yeah, and
talking about the watches, and it's about everything that happens. And then she's being stalked by someone, so there's a bit of an intrigue, a bit of romance, a bit of adventure.
A bit of everything?
Yeah.
Ah, and then
I read it, and I didn't want to finish it because if I finished it, but I did.
Oh, you
I read
did?
it in a day.
Oh God. Oh, that's good. I'll have to put my little name down for that one. And then there are another books, the Bromance ones.
Yes, the Bromance Bookclub.
The Bromance, that is so good. I've read there's 4 in the series now, isn't there? So I've read the first 3. I'm waiting for the 4th one to come through. All right. So if you want to come over here and have a look at what my wok's doing, see how it's all bubbling now? That's when I add my sauce in, because you can just see how here the capsicum softened. And you know the steam's made the liquid. So here we go. We add our stuff, a little bit of oyster. This is just here we go, a little bit of oyster sauce like that. Ouch. A little bit of sweet capsicum. So what's that one called? That's sweet capsicum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better that one.
I hadn't until I watched a cooking show and it was a Chinese one. And normal soy sauce. A splash. And then we get this through. Like that. So it's all coated. Can you smell it now?
Yep. Smells good.
Smells good. And this one. Just empty the packet in. Here we go. Flip it all around. So I'll see you in a jiffy. I'm just going to get a plate and start serving up and put the lid on it. So see you soon. Okay, so I've just got my rice from the rice cooker. So I've just put like a ladle there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve up my stir fry. So here we go. Say when, Mum?
Oh, a little bit more. Oh, the whole bowl full.
How about that? Is that enough?
Yep, that's plenty.
Okay, all right. So this is my stir fry, basil chili, sweet chili stir fry with capsicum and chicken. There you go. So I'll see you next week for What's for Tea, Tracey. Stay safe, look after everybody. Take care. Bye.